It's with a heavy heart that I learned today that Kiah Duggins was among those killed in the plane collision in D.C. And I just wanted to take a moment and honor her. Kiah, 30, was a trailblazer hailing from Wichita, Kansas. Kiah went on to graduate from Harvard Law School, where she served as president of the Harvard Legal Aid Bureau. She represented the most vulnerable and the most marginalized. Kiah was awarded the prestigious Fulbright grant to teach in Taiwan. She also gave a TED Talk in 2018 about beauty standards and colonialism. As a young girl, she wanted to be a princess, but a friend told her that princesses didn't look like her. Kiah went on to become a top 10 finalist in the Miss Kansas beauty pageant. This fall, Kiah was slated to start a new position as professor at Howard University Law School. Kiah was a visionary who embodied excellence. May she rest in power. I find the juxtaposition of the President of the United States coming out and blaming this disaster on DEI policies astounding, especially considering the testimony, the light of Kiah that continues to shine brightly. May we never forget her witness, and may we continue to engage in her journey for a society that is more equitable for all.
In terms of military rehabilitation, the Invictus Games has taken on that role, inspiring recovery and resilience through sport. The Royal British Legion supported Team UK to compete at this year's Games in Dusseldorf. RAF veteran Steve Hooper explains how Invictus has helped him.
I joined the RAF to be a mechanical transport driver. I just thought I was going to be driving vehicles and servicing aircraft. I then got deployed to Iraq for the first time. I ended up being effectively a paramedic driver. I saw all kinds of injuries, losing limbs, severe wounds, fatalities. I was covered head to toe in 3 or 4 different people's blood. It's beyond scary. And coming home was very difficult. And that's where things got tough. So I struggled with my mental health for 2 years, which is when I then got diagnosed with PTSD.
In one of our earlier dates, Steve had explained that he had PTSD, and I think he was doing a lot of masking of his symptoms at the time.
Suppressing emotions is like a volcanic suppression, and eventually you're going to erupt. My explosion happened in 2018.
Steve went to Cyprus for a deployment, and on his return, the darkest of his PTSD had really sort of set in.
I started getting therapy, things were starting to go well, and then the pandemic hit. That's when everything got really, really dark. I was struggling to sleep, flashbacks. I would sit in the garage with the door shut. Hiding away was an escape. It was not wanting to really exist in the most brutal sense.
Every day I was scared for Steve, and my worry was that the easiest thing for him to do was just to finish things, just to want life to stop.
The Invictus Games helped me realize that life does not end with the injury. It's just the beginning.
Team Canada member Robert Pullen is perseverance personified. Organizers say it's what the Invictus Games are all about.
Olympic Games change lives. Invictus Games save lives.
The 7th edition of the sporting event for wounded, injured, and sick veterans gets underway in Vancouver and Whistler on February 8th. Katy Perry, Nelly Furtado, and others will perform during the opening ceremony at BC Place. Over 530 athletes from 23 countries will compete, and for the first time, winter sports are included.
As doing so also showcase the fantastic winter facilities that Canada has, and also really importantly the role that Canada plays in the world. Our armed forces protect the north for the international community.
The winter events will occupy 2 ski runs along with the...
In war, there are no limits when it comes to trauma. Some injuries you see, many you don't. All have the kind of impact you can't quite measure.
I saw what was left of my arm. You kind of lose your identity.
I started to go unconscious without a warning. I could never be on my own with our little girl Maya. I became withdrawn, isolated, completely the opposite to who I was, and I thought the world was better without me.
It took me a while to really understand my life wasn't over, it was just the end of a life. And once I was able to drop that, I was able to focus on who I could become.
There's no one way for veterans to find themselves again after war. But over the last 10 years, the Invictus Games have provided a remarkable path forward for thousands of them.
I was actually in hospital. We got an email for the Invictus Games, and my husband said, "Please, Michelle, just try it." I wasn't sporty. How can I recover through the power of sport? And he put his hand on my leg and he said, "Please, Michelle, we're losing you."
Just because we've been injured, we're not out of the fight. Serving my country has been an incredible honor, but in Invictus, showing other people what you're capable of, it's another way to serve my country.
Here comes Jason Smith.
I know what my disabilities are and I know who I'm seeing. Invictus is the light at the end of the tunnel.
And the games don't merely help the competitors heal and grow. They guide entire families towards hope as well.
It was a good time. It was the first time we sort of knew that we were going to get your mum back.
What's your favourite moment at the swimming? I'll always remember that. Everyone was cheering for you.
And it's game on down under for the 2018 Invictus Games.
I was scared, stuck in the water, and my goggles were filling up with tears. About 3/4 of the way there, the whole place went mental. Everybody had finished. Them whole crowds were for me, just to get me to that end.
Michelle Turner touches the wall as well.
I looked up and Mate was cheering and she come running down the steps and she gave me a hug. I made her proud of me that day for coming last, but it was miles more than that for us as a family. I was out of the house. I promised I would continue what I was doing. Thank you to you for standing by me through everything, for being so brave, faithful, and then helping me all along since.
The best thing about these games is that you can see everybody grow, going from my life is over to my life is flourishing. Being able to represent my country, I never thought I would have that chance again. My family's been my biggest supporters. When my kids get to tell me that they're proud of me, it means a lot. Sorry.
How do you thank somebody for creating an Invictus Games that changes your life, that changes your little girl's life? I don't have the words, but I know thousands and thousands of lives have been changed by these games.
The Invictus Games changed my life.
Auch mal ein bisschen die schweren Zeiten hinter sich zu lassen.
It's saving lives. It's healing lives.
게임을 통해서 그 전쟁의 상처를 조금 치유를 받고.
Gives me a hell of a sense of pride to represent my country again.
Je suis forte, c'est que je suis peut-être même plus forte que je ne pense.
I can really meet that one.
So stay strong and finish strong and never quit.
We may have provided the platform, but you provided the magic. You have shown us joy can emerge from struggle, and for that, we are eternally grateful.
The polo dog, which has gotten a lot of attention lately about a lot of BS about where does it come from, which I love. There's no such thing as bad press. The game is not about Harry. It's not about me either. We are both, we both participate and help produce the show. But this is about the U.S. Open and following 6 guys that are, main polo players in this U.S. Open, and we're going to show you the kitchen of the polo life in the most important tournament in America, which is the U.S. Open. And it's been an honor to be his friend and help him in all his good missions for a very long time. Whenever we play polo,
but you had to pick.
So for a very long time we played against each other, and it was very competitive. He kept on giving me BS about who was going to win, who was not going to win, and so then eventually we decided let's play together so that we can push together. But he's very competitive. He loves polo. He's a great rider, and so it's a very good thing to be his wingman.
Please picture. Please picture. Hello, princess. Yes. What's your name? Please picture.
Yes, of course.
Thank you so much.
An honor fit for a hero.
Black people were the only groups in America that had to fight to fight.
The Boston City Council honoring one of the members of the Tuskegee Airmen, General Woody Woodhouse, a group of primarily black pilots who were pioneers during World War II, credited for desegregating the U.S. military. At 98 years young, Woodhouse still calls himself just a Roxbury boy and proves to be sharp as a tack.
Almost like the day I was baptized, or as my wife would want me to say, the day we got married.
Just days ago, the Air Force removing training materials featuring the Tuskegee Airmen. This to supposedly comply with President Trump's DEI removal order. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth confirming Sunday that the course's removal has been immediately reversed.
Well, I have many thoughts. Big thoughts, little thoughts, thoughts of anger, thoughts of disappointment.
Boston City Councilor Sharon Durkin says regardless of President Trump's order on DEI, the city of Boston will continue to tell these important stories.
This is American history, and the idea that we would pick and choose who are part of our American history and who are part of shaping it is not okay.
Airman Woodhouse is not just a hero of the past, he's shaping the next generation.
And I'm going to pass this on to all young boys and girls here in Boston.
They were black men. They were slaves. They had a houseboy, a yard boy, somebody who worked the cows. He was called a cowboy.
So it seems like a lot of people are trying to erase the black history tied to symbols of the American South, like cowboys and country music. But I'm here today at the Houston Rodeo, and it's time to set the record straight.
And to do this, I got a real black cowboy to help me out.
All right, my name is Larry Callis. I used to be a country western singer. When I lost my voice, I lost my band, and I lost my manager. But I'm a Christian first, and I'm a cowboy second. I know when God takes something this big, he adds something else. He's added my museum. I've been on the front page of the New York Times. A black cowboy confronts the whitewash history of the West. Larry Callis comes from a long line of black American cowboys. They originated from right here in Fort Benton County. The real word came from slavery. They had a house nigger, a yard nigger, and a nigger that worked the cows. Then they changed house boy, yard boy, and a cowboy. The white man in Texas was called a cowhand. He refused to be called a cowboy because a cowboy in Texas was a black man. until Hollywood heard about it. When Hollywood heard about it, they started calling white men cowboys. They whitewashed the history. That's where the word cowboy came from.
Who's a historical figure that people never talk about, good or bad? I'll go first. Bet you've never heard of Sarah Rector, who at the age of 12 became a multimillionaire and the richest black child in the world. She became so rich that the Oklahoma legislature petitioned to make her a white person on paper. God forbid a black person ever be wealthy. How does she get this money? She was actually a descendant of Creek Nation Native Americans. And basically after the Civil War, a lot of land which now belongs to present-day Oklahoma, given to descendants of the Creek Nation Native Americans. Sarah was given about 160 acres. Land was considered to be infertile and not suitable for business, and the fertile land was given to white people. Around 1913, Sarah's father leased the land to an oil driller, and what do you know, the land was super fertile for oil, generated about 2,500 barrels a day. She started to receive royalties, which made her a millionaire by the age of 18. The state of Oklahoma tried to make her a white person on paper, or switch her guardianship to a white person, because a black person wasn't suited to guard her. Nonetheless, amassed way more millions, lived to the age of 65.
Walter Grady Roberts and Betty Lou Dramadis ran a theater school and a writing workshop in Atlanta, Georgia. And when they were running their theater school and their artist workshops, Atlanta was an extremely segregated city, and it was in the middle of Jim Crow. One day, Betty received a phone call from a woman saying that she wanted to enroll her children in her theater school, and that she had a hard time finding a place to enroll them because they were black. Betty and her husband ran one of the few businesses in Atlanta that were not segregated, and the theater school that they ran would accept children of any race. And the woman that called them turned out to be Coretta Scott King. She was the one that wanted to enroll her children in the school. Betty Lou, Walter Grady Roberts, Coretta Scott King, and Martin Luther King hit it off, and they became really, really good friends. Now, around this time, Betty found out that she was pregnant and she was set to deliver her baby. And after Betty gave birth, they realized that they couldn't afford the hospital bill. The King family stepped in and paid their hospital bill for them. The daughter that Betty Lou and Walter Grady Roberts had turned out to be Julia Roberts.
Did you know a black woman was responsible for Rio de Janeiro's carnival culture as we know it today? Meet Aunt Ciara, also known as the guardian of Sambba. Rio's carnival is said to be the biggest carnival in the world, but if it wasn't for Aunt Ciara, Sambba may have never gotten formally recognized. See, originally from Bahia, Aunt Ciara moved to Rio's Little Africa neighborhood when she was 22. But during that period, so like the late 19th century, the elites in Rio were scared of the Sambba rhythm because it was closely linked to blackness, to African Brazilian communities. So how did Samba and Carnival eventually become synonymous with Brazil's cultural identity? You can learn a lot about this history by taking a tour of the Little Africa neighborhood and Samba City, where you get a behind-the-scenes look into a Samba school preparing for Carnival. You even get to try on smoked costumes and learn how to dance Samba. During this tour, I learned the remarkable story of Auntie Ciara successfully curing an incurable infection of the president at the time within just 3 days, ultimately contributing to the recognition and acceptance of Afro-Brazilian traditions such as candomblé. There's also the Carnival Museum in Salvador de Bahia that gives you insight into the Bahian culture that Auntie Ciara and other prominent aunties brought with them to Rio, like the habit of celebrating life as a form of resistance. Aunt Ciara's legendary parties that lasted almost a week at her house were pivotal for the birth of Samba Caricoa and Rio's Carnival as we know it today. Aunt Ciara in the Little Africa neighborhood were the brains behind some of the key instruments and iconic choreography we see in Samba schools today. Is Rio's Carnival on your bucket list?
Do you know how much effort it takes to drown a town of people? Think about that logistically, what that takes. I want to make a series here on TikTok and call it White Black History, because as a white person, I know we don't get taught the truth. Not in America. I'll give you an example. It would be like the Tulsa massacre, where Black Wall Street is what we called it, an extremely wealthy black neighborhood, was beaten and burned down. Another one's like the Wilmington massacre in North Carolina in like 1898, where a group of white supremacists just decided to overthrow the local government that was biracial and then just kill all the black people. Show me that in your history book. Or you have like the Contul Pro and like the targeting of black leaders from like 1950 something to 1971, where basically it was an FBI initiated program that was designed to infiltrate and target black leaders, black communities, anybody who was really outspoken against things that we just don't learn these things. Like literally the FBI and the CIA have been involved in the disparagement, displacement, and eradication of black people and their wealth for ever. Then when somebody brings it up, we sound crazy because you haven't heard it in a textbook in 6th grade. Why would we teach you you're the bad guy? It's crazy. It's crazy the amount of things that we don't get taught that are actual things. There was several black towns that were drowned. Drowned. Think about that for a minute. Do you know how much work and effort it takes to drown a town because you don't like what they look like? Oscarville, Georgia, Choctaw City, Alabama, Seneca Village in New York, more recent, Cowalinga, Alabama, Freedmen's Towns in Texas. That's black-white history, though.
I said.
Some might hear that quote and think, well, of course, Dr. King, we don't want to give money to just one community. But check the pinned comment below for the final video in this series on radical MLK quotes you don't hear enough. In this clip, you'll hear MLK discuss how the US government has historically given resources and money and land and property to one racial group and not the others. It's just always been given to white people. I think you're really gonna like this one.
Happy? Yes, you happy? Well done. Well done. Well done. Happy birthday.
Yeah, I'm so happy.
I've got something for you. This is from our team. Thank you very much. The team is always strong. Thank you very much. Thank you. This is what you are doing for. No, thank you. And you, thank you for supporting me. Yeah. So come on, everybody. Drużyna to nasza siła! Drużyna to nasza siła! Drużyna to nasza siła! 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 100 lat, niech żyje, żyje nam! 100 lat, niech żyje, żyje nam! Jeszcze raz, niech żyje, żyje nam! Niech żyje nam! A kto? Happy birthday! Yes, of course.
There's a history about Hawaii that people don't really know.
I like to start off by saying that Sir is not wrong whatsoever. Although he is missing a few key points of info that differentiate before the overthrow and then after the overthrow. The first African American settlers to Hawaii date all the way back to like the late 1700s, back when King Kamehameha the Great was, uniting all the islands. Now, I can't remember specific names and or dates off the top of my head, but I will say that these African American settlers that came to Hawaii were very much revered by my Hawaiian people, especially by the monarchy. These settlers were also former slaves, very highly educated, college-educated people that served as advisors and in the cabinets of multiple reigning kings in our monarchy. And not only that, they were also business women and men. They opened up schools for the general population of people because at the time there was only a royal school, missionary school. So where do all the other kids go? You know what I'm saying? Their contributions extend far beyond what we probably know today. Washington Middle School, built by a black man. Lahaina Luna Boarding School, built by a black woman. Now, let's fast forward to the overthrow. If you know anything about Native Hawaiians, or just Native groups of people in general, you know that slavery is not in our mindset. But you know whose mindset that is? Them cream color folks. So, after the cream colored folk took over the government, illegally occupying Hawaii, this was post-Civil War, and plantation owners, slave owners from the South were sending their slaves over to Hawaii to work on our plantations, along with Hawaiians and other minorities that were there at the time, which enacted the Masters and Servants Act of 1850, which I like to call slavery under another name, okay? I don't know about you, and even back in those days, $3 a month ain't cutting it. So, I guess you can say that Hawaiians thought of dark complexioned people as people who have strength and courage and dignity, and then here come the cream color folk just messing it up for everybody. Just couldn't leave us alone, you know, couldn't mind their business. They think everything's about them, you know. How can we make your life better? By leaving.
Did you know one of the most impactful inventors in history was a Black woman named Mary Beatrice Davidson Kenner? And her inventions are still improving lives today. One of her most clever inventions was a toilet paper holder that made sure the roll wouldn't unravel and was always easy to access. Simple? Yes. Genius? Absolutely. But Mary didn't stop there. She went on to tackle even bigger problems with her inventions. In 1957, she patented the sanitary belt with a moisture-proof pocket, a game-changing invention for menstrual care. At a time when women didn't have reliable menstrual products, her design provided security and comfort. Mary also created a walker with attachable trays and a pocket, making life easier for people with mobility challenges. Despite her brilliant designs, many companies rejected her inventions for years because of racial prejudice, but she never gave up. In total, Mary Beatrice Davidson Kenner held 5 patents in her lifetime. But these weren't just products, they were life-changing tools. Her story is a reminder. Innovation knows no gender, no race. It only knows determination. Remember her name. Celebrate her legacy. Follow for more hidden Black history stories.
Were you aware that the greatest single man-made structure ever built resides in Africa, and it's not the Great Pyramid of Giza? Ranging in height from 3 to 20 meters, the Wall of Benin, also known as the Great Wall of Africa, stretched for almost 10,000 miles in length, making it in its entirety long enough to extend around the perimeter of the USA, with over 1,000 miles of wall to spare. Often extending above the treetops of around 2,500 square miles of land in southern Nigeria. To the locals, the Great Wall was known as Kiah. Its construction required over 9.1 billion cubic feet of material to construct. However, like the Great Wall of China, the Kiah was not a single wall, but rather a joint series of earthen ramparts and moats that utilized indigenous African methods of construction. It required over 150 million man-hours and an estimated 800 years to complete.
I've always loved this portrait of our ancestor, Queen Charlotte.
Even a lifetime special based on the romance of the present-day Duke and Duchess chimed in.
Oh, yes. You're of mixed race, Harry. So am I.
Why doesn't the Queen just come out and say it?
She can't. She may not. It's one of the things that the royal family cannot do. She would be stepping into political water.
You're saying that having Black lineage is political in today's times?
Highly political.
Right now, I'm in Luanda, which is the capital city of Angola, and right next to me, you'll see a statue of Queen Nzinga, who is a national hero in Angola because of her resistance to Portuguese colonizers and slave traders. In the early 1600s, she was a leader of the Ndongo people of modern-day Angola, and at first, she actually had a diplomatic relationship with the Portuguese. In one of her early famous stories, she was meeting with the Portuguese governor for a diplomatic mission, and when he refused to give her a chair as a sort of power move, she actually had one of her servants get on their hands and knees, and she sat on them for the duration of the meeting. But after her brother died, the Portuguese betrayed their agreements and started increasing their demands upon her and her kingdom. But she resisted their dominance, and through political maneuvering and political violence, she captured enough power to organize a large and powerful army that she commanded. Then she went to war with the Portuguese for over 30 years. Like when she was in her 60s, she was still fully leading troops into battle. And while she was probably #1 on the Portuguese hit list, she ended up dying peacefully in her sleep and inspiring the revolutionary movements that would lead to Angolan independence centuries later. And as a quick disclaimer, many use Queen Nzinga's story as a symbol against the slave trade, which she did resist, but the queen was also an enslaver and a conqueror herself. And of course, this was because of the economic situation that European colonizers set up in Western, South, and Central Africa. If you learned something new, let me know in the comments and follow for more.
Did you know that 100 years ago, pink was for boys and blue was for girls? Let me tell you about it. In the 19th century, colors weren't strongly gendered in the West. Babies often wore white dresses regardless of sex because they were easy to bleach. But by the early 20th century, things started to change. A 1918 article in Earnshaw's Infants Department stated, and I quote, "The generally accepted rule is pink for the boys and blue for the girls. The reason is that pink, being a more decided and stronger color, is more suitable for the boy, while blue, which is more delicate and dainty, is prettier for the girl." Yes, you heard that right. Pink was seen as bold and masculine, while blue, associated with the Virgin Mary in Christian art, her, was soft and feminine. So when did the switch happen? Fast forward to the 1940s with me. As companies began mass-producing baby clothes, they pushed for standardization, and pink and blue became marketing tools. Retailers realized that they could sell more clothes by encouraging gender-specific colors. By the 1950s, pink had become synonymous with femininity. Pop culture icons like Marilyn Monroe wore pink gowns, solidifying it as a glamorous and feminine color. Meanwhile, blue's association with boys gained traction through uniforms like sailor outfits and Boy Scout gear. The pink and blue divide, as with many things concerning gender, is more about marketing than biology. So the next time someone says, "That's a girl's color," remind them that it wasn't always that way, and tell them to shove it. Colors have no gender. They're a canvas for culture, not biology. What's your favorite color? And do you think it reflects your personality? Words matter. Past is prologue. I hope you have a great day.
Hello my people, Lady Rosie here. How y'all doing? To all my new subscribers, you're welcome, and my returning subscribers, you all know I love you. Guys, it's a sunny day today in Colorado, and it's the month of February, and y'all know it's the Black History Month. Happy Black History Month to y'all, my family. I love you. So guys, remember the airplane that collided in DC a few minutes ago? There was a sister, our beautiful sister with great legacy. I'm gonna play the video for the guy who has a little history about our sister. Her name well, people sometimes when you die, when you no longer here, they kind of say your name was like sometimes I tend to tell people my mother's name was Jacqueline, when my mother's name actually is Jacqueline, even though she is no longer with us. So this sister, the human rights attorney, Kiah Duggins, is her name. She was among those ones who lost their lives in this airplane in D.C. and this guy, the orange dude of America, came out here blaming DEI. And y'all remember, I did post the picture of the young man who was 29 years old, and he was the army pilot. And the kid's father came on TikTok and said lots of good stuff about his son as well. So I do believe the kid really did work his way up there. So and apparently, allegedly, because I'm really not very sure about this one here, it's still the information from TikTok. We are gonna find the details about the American airline pilot, which I believe was a Hispanic man, and he was the guy who did not do wrong, and the veteran, not the veteran, the military young man, apparently, well, we can't really say lots of stuff. So, but that's how the coalition happened up there in the air, and apparently the investigation is gonna come out here. So this human rights attorney, like you heard, you're gonna hear from well, I'm gonna put their video. I do actually play all the videos before all my videos, okay? So when I'm talking, sometimes I just get kind of a little bit confused, like you gotta watch it before or after my talk, my little TED talk. But I believe you are gonna watch that video before watching this one here. So you all heard everything the guy said about that wonderful young lady who was a civil rights attorney, and when she was little, somebody told her she could not become a princess because the princesses are not black. But guess what? That's very wrong. Before all those Lucrece Borgia became princesses, that Pope's daughter from the Catholic Church of Rome became princess in Europe. We already had princesses in Africa. And if y'all know those Nefertiti, Amenhotep's wife, all those Nefertitis used to be princesses, and I believe those ones dated before all those Lucrece Borgia and all those other princesses from Europe, okay? So don't let people tell you children otherwise. There used to be black princesses before there were all those other black princesses out here. Yes, and y'all watched all those queens, Nzinga of Angola and Congo. So that that lady used to be a princess too. So if you look at those time when those people were princesses, Queen Elizabeth II was still not here yet. Yes, those were in 1400s. Okay, so stop lying to people and stop telling your kids otherwise. There used to be like a princess, black princesses way before there were any kind of white princesses. I ain't got nothing against the white princesses, because like I do tell y'all white people, all of us, we one family down here. We are no strangers. We are related to each other. Stop that nonsense racism that y'all be flying around with. But I know the ones here, my queens here, my white queens and my white kings here from the Lady Rose channel, I know there ain't no racists amongst you. Because you know, I don't like those people. I don't like white supremacists, and I am putting no water in my mouth that I can't stand them with anything that they're gonna bring out here. They're gonna bring this nonsense project of theirs, and it's just a bunch of like unprofessional, unqualified. You know, everything that they're saying about DI is actually them. You know, even that orange man there, he's gonna sit down there say lots of stuff. Yo, I've told you multiple times, I've written a thesis, and you know, if a person wrote a thesis, the person has either a master's degree or has a PhD degree. I have one of them. The person in that guy's family I can sit down really have a conversation with is called Mary Trump. Yes, the other ones there do not even reach my level of education, and I am from DI proudly. Yes, And guess what? In 4 more years, that department is still gonna come back. Yes, I am a minority, and therefore I do qualify to be part of DEI. And yes, whether you want or not, we are more qualified than all of y'all guys. And you know what? From DEI, we have to work 5 times harder than you to earn those positions that you guys just get out of knowing somebody. You get those positions from being fans of your leaders. Yeah, you don't even qualify. Like, damn, I feel so sad to watch people like this guy here, Pete. Those people coming to say stuff. I mean, damn, this white man world is just different, guys. So let's go to Invictus Games, y'all. So y'all guys watched the guys talking about this Invictus Games, and that Invictus Games, you all know, the patron of that game, of those games, is Prince Harry, our brother-in-law, our beloved Prince. We love you so much, brother. God bless you, and we'll be praying for you. You know, my sister here, Cookies and Cream, she always says, like, please pray for the successes, and we do pray for you. And you know, sometimes those prayers don't be working. You know, sometimes, yeah, we just need to take those cameras and come out here and put the correct narratives about y'all guys out here. And there was this white sister who came out. She also said, yeah, the successes need to start coming out and talk about whatever they want people to watch, because they have big popularity. It's easy for them to sell stuff out here than it is for everybody out here. So it's good for them when they have show out. Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, come out here, talk about your show openly, because it's gonna come next month. We're gonna have that show on the 4th of February. Oh, no, it's the 4th of March, so it's in 2 more months. Yes, so that show gonna be out here. So we are expecting you to come out here, not just write like a stuff on Instagram. Duchess, come on out here and tell people about your show. And next time, Prince Harry, you have your show out, also come out here, because it's easier for y'all guys to say 2 words that attract everybody to come watch it, and they're gonna watch it on steroids. And you know who gonna really watch it on steroids? The English people, especially the ones who hate you, those tabloids. You know, they can't sleep without you. They can't put food on them tables. They can't put no food in their children's mouths. They can't dress up their children. They can't buy new cars. They can't get credit cards if they do not talk about Harry and Meghan. So yes, it's a good idea. I believe that's a good thing. So when you have your shows out, coming out here, talk about it briefly. You don't need to talk too much. You don't want to give all those haters like 2 minutes of your life, but you are giving it to the success squad, the people who are supporting you. There are good white brothers and sisters out here supporting y'all guys, and there is an entire black community around the world. I tell you, you go down in the Caribbean, there you gonna find people praising y'all too. Yeah, you remember that lady who always comes on the Royal Success, and my brother Baron, he be putting all this lady who says like those are monarchy people. They are actually the monarchs on warfare. Those people get food stamps. Those people get food stamps. Those people get social security money. They get SSDI. Yes. Yeah, that sister cracks me up. Every time I see her face, she just reminds me of one of a lady that I used to work with. Yeah, that lady I used to work with her when I used to be case manager. Like, that's a long time ago. Yeah, before when I was in school. So I used to be a case manager in human services. Yeah, that sister looked exactly like her, and her name was Andrea. Andrea, where you at? God bless you. Yeah, so she used to be a very sweet sister of mine. She's like, those people are just a bunch of people on the welfare. Like all of us, like she goes behind the monarch. Well, they're just people like us. I just don't like them. And sure, sister, we don't like those people. And those people, if they do not talk about Harry and Meghan, they ain't gonna be relevant. So therefore, all of them gonna keep talking about our beautiful sister, because they never seen that such beauty in them damn family before. I tell you that for sure. So guess what? It's the Invictus Game 2025, guys, in Canada. Yeah, everybody's getting ready. And our sister Weezy did put someone's link. I don't know if I'm gonna find time, but I'm gonna try to find time to put the link for the person's channel here. That lady is gonna live stream Invictus for the Success Squad straight from Canada. I believe the lady lives in Canada, and she just opened a TikTok channel a few minutes ago. So she's gonna start giving us juice. And I believe there is there's one of the English channels that did get into collaboration with the successes to also stream the game. The names of all those people are on Weezy's channel, on Elizabeth. Why for some reason I do call Isabella Banks Elizabeth most of the times. I don't know. Maybe she was Elizabeth in her previous life. You know those people who be believing in the reincarnation. But I don't know if I believe in those stuff, because you know what? I be reading books, so that's where I found those reincarnations from. So maybe Isabella Banks is Elizabeth who kind of reincarnated from some kind of ancestors back there. But bear with me, you all know who I'm talking about. So go on Isabella Banks' channel to check that link there, and follow the sister on TikTok. And I will also, like I say, if I do not forget, I'm gonna drop the sister's TikTok link on here for y'all guys to follow her, so we could follow that game and make videos about it. Because guess what? It's our big event. That event does not belong to these heinous people. And guess what? This prince's father, the Charlie boy, he should be the one out here congratulating all those people, because guess what? Those people actually served his country. He is actually the commander of the chief for those people. Remember, his mama used to be the commander of chief before, and then he took the power, and he is the commander of chief of those people who served his country, and the people who said all this stuff, good stuff about the Invictus. But because you know that guy has the complex of inferiority, has the complex of being hated by everybody, because dude is the cheater. Dude is also a homewrecker, but y'all need to call him for what he stands for, because remember that How Miller, that one. That one, yes, the escort queen. The escort queen used to be married, to Andrew Parker Balls, so she used to be married. So they do home record, yes. So that's what it is. So yes, that dude. He's just sitting down there watching these people doing all Prince Harry doing all this great, wonderful thing for those veterans from around the world. You all heard all those people speaking all different languages, people speaking Serbs, people speaking all kind of languages there in that games. So those people are from all over. And this year they're gonna have Winter Paralympics games also. And Canada, I believe that's probably also the main reason why they chose Canada, or maybe why main reason Canada chose them. Because those people have like the snow. They have snow on steroids in that Canada. So when you have snow on steroids, it's easy to ski. It's easy to kind of play different like snow games. Okay, so that dude, because he just has complex, That's why he can't come and say there, oh, my son is doing such a good job, because guess what, the credit ain't going to him, but he's forgetting that guy is a member of that family. If you go on Wikipedia, you go look for Prince Harry, they're gonna tell you he is a member of British family, okay? And whether he likes our Duchess of Sussex or not, she is the Duchess of Sussex and bestowed that upon her marriage to Prince Harry, and whether he wants or not, she is also Princess Meghan, she's Princess Harry Wales. Yes, she is married to a blood prince who is Prince Harry of England. That's how I like to call him, the Prince Harry of England. Whether you deny or not, he's still your son, same DNA, and he belongs to that monarchy. And when he is doing all the good, the credit, you still getting the credit, but you just refusing to acknowledge, because dude, you are a loser. You are a loser, father. You are nobody. You are whatever you are there. The wife of you was the beautiful princess who overshadowed you your entire life. When she's not even here right now, she still overshadows you. She overshadows you with your mistress. Both of y'all guys together. That's why you guys can't get over it. And when you look at Prince Harry's red hair, you just remember his mother. That's why it's hard for you to come out here to say, thank you, my son. You do a really wonderful job to help those veterans. You're doing really good thing to kind of help them come back to sense of life after all they've lost fighting for our freedoms. But dude, woo, that man, he's something else. So guys, I'm gonna stop this video here. I'm gonna need to focus a little bit around here because this little tiny road too tiny. Yeah, so I saw my camera be moving around there because it's sitting on this little piece of something that I bought on Temu. You know those Temu stuff. So what about it? You know some of those Temu stuff, they be working good. Yeah, so this is sometimes sometimes those Temu stuff be working good. But don't you try to go buy no dresses from Temu like Caro Middlebum. Yeah, that Caro Middlebum. Yeah, you know some Temu stuff. Some Temu stuff just ever moving. You don't touch it, it just moves. You don't touch it, it just moves upside down. You know. Yeah, so that dude, he was probably helping his son, that lazy one, the WikiLeaks. He was thinking that WikiLeaks will be at least somebody who could initiate something big as what Prince Harry did. But I tell you, that dude ain't got no talent. That dude be just hanging around. You know, he just like to hang around Rosehanbury. You know, he doesn't like to do nothing. And then you got him married to the woman that he did not like, and you just ruined everything of his. You just ruined his entire life when you guys accepted him to marry that social climber. You know, you ruined it. You know, that's a social climber's reputation is terrible. I believe y'all saw that video compilation that somebody did put together there. That girl be hanging around some black day, and I did not say that. Yeah, she be hanging around lots of stuff. Oh my goodness, I tell you guys. When you get married to somebody with terrible reputation, I do tell you, my grandmama used to say that your reputation will precede you. You know that girl, that yacht girl reputation terrible. So you know why William couldn't put that lady there to be his queen? Because y'all know when your reputation is not terrible, when you got like all those kind of pictures, you know those pictures, the exhibitionist pictures, you know what I mean? Yeah, you go on some let me just stop right there because you know my video might get censored. You know those people, they don't like when I tell the truth. So you know I'ma just keep that truth for myself. So guys, please subscribe to all the Sussex friendly channels and subscribe Subscribe to my sister Isabella Baxter channel. Let's get this. This is 10,000 subscribers. Let's go to my brother Baron there and subscribe to the Royal Success, that the channel that helps us all. And get my brother that silver plate. I've been telling you all these while, but I'm not seeing the numbers increasing. I don't know if we're really doing what we're supposed to be doing. What we need to be doing is actually take those videos and send them in other in other platforms, Facebook, all those ones there, and the ones with YouTube channels. Let's also help share our videos on each other's pages, and I'm gonna try to do best on that. But I tell you guys, I'm super busy. My life is just busy. Remember last time when I got sick, I actually got overwhelmed. I got sick until the doctor was like, well, you need to take a break from every single thing that you do. You need to stay away from even the computer. So that's why I succeeded to be off at least for 2 weeks, you know. And I did not come up here, and I stayed home. I didn't even go to my office. I stayed off work for at least 2 weeks to recuperate.